I'm Heather.
I'm Nate.
And this is Lacey.
We're going to Citywalk at Universal Studios Hollywood.
You don't have to have a ticket to the park to visit Citywalk. You just have to pay for parking and you can stroll right in.
When we got to Citywalk, we couldn't believe how much it looked like it was part of the park, but then we were reminded that there were a whole lot more food options here with every kind of popcorn you could ever imagine.
It was actually really cool here. In addition to having tons of food options, there was so much shopping to do here too.
We had to warp into the Super Nintendo World store to get all the stuff we didn't get at the park because we were too busy collecting coins. When we saw these headbands, we couldn't get just one, so we got way too many, and then we jumped our way right back out to the Citywalk because we wanted to go check out all the cool artwork and the buildings that looked like they were built to be parts of sets. It was quite the mix of theme park, movie studio, entertainment zone, and mall, but we kept looking at all the beautiful landscaping along the way.
The flowers were blooming everywhere you walked, and you got the LA vibes everywhere you went. They even had a Dodgers fan shop, and for all you Dodgers fans out there were some special handprints out front.
And Dodgers manager Tommy Lasorda, who left an impression everywhere he went. With French and Italian restaurants right next to each other, we felt like everywhere we looked, there was something interesting.
A cow in a pink convertible upside down is not something you see every day. And all the sweets were starting to smell so yummy, but our gorilla-like hunger was telling us we better get something to eat before we start on that.
As our hunger grew, the menus at all the restaurants started looking better and better. Our heads were spinning and we just couldn't decide what to eat. Finally, we stopped at Bubba Gump Shrimp because we'd never tried it before.
They had a huge menu and a fun atmosphere. There was lots to look at while we ate our lunch.
They had directions to every Bubba Gump Shrimp in America, along with enough memorabilia from the movie Forrest Gump to keep us entertained until it was time to eat.
We had a funny feeling we were being watched while we ate lunch. And so when we were finished, we went out to go see who was watching us.
A huge dragon was bursting out of the building and hanging right over the Citywalk. We didn't know if he was just there for a snack or if he was there all the time to keep everybody in line.
We got a little hot getting too close to that dragon, so we headed back down to cool off.
When we got to the bottom, I went into the fountain thinking I could get wet to cool off. But every time I tried to chase it, the water just seemed to run away from me.
We had satisfied our gorilla-like hunger with a yummy lunch, so it was time to top it off by taking a little bite of something sweet.
Ouch! Bitten and then pretzeled through the heart, and you're to blame. Voodoo donuts are in a lot of pain.
There were lots of things to satisfy your sweet tooth here, but once you laid eyes on that chocolate factory, it just seemed to draw you in. The building was beautiful, and inside was a restaurant and bar where you could get a chocolate martini like no other. And as the smells drew us in, we found ourselves headed over to the candy side. We were looking at all of these amazing truffles.
We grabbed enough beautifully painted truffles for everybody, and then as soon as we got outside, we ran into Celebrity Authentics. This shop had us floating on air with all of its incredible movie memorabilia.
They had authentic props from the movies, signed by the movie stars themselves for sale. It was so fun just to look at everything.
We were jumping off the walls and turning ourselves inside out to see it all.
From a signed sorting hat to an original broomstick to suddenly remembering don't fall asleep. We had so much fun checking everything out in this store. We spent way too much time hanging out in this store. We had to peel ourselves away to go keep exploring the rest of Citywalk. I knew they had other interesting things to check out, and we didn't have to go too far before we ran into people skydiving indoors.
Is that skydiving or just sky holding? I can't tell.
Our hotel was right next door to Citywalk, making it easy to walk back and forth whenever you wanted to. We were ready to switch back into vacation mode and spend the day at the pool.
An Olympic-level diving competition had everybody hungry enough to eat like world-class athletes.
And after jumping in and out of the pool all afternoon, we had to get ready. We had a couple birthday dinners to go celebrate.
We told each of them it was a surprise party for the other one.
And it was a quick walk back to Citywalk. It felt like we flew right over, and before you knew it, we were there.
We didn't get far before we became immersed in the wizarding world of Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, this is such a cool store. There's so many fun things in here.
They had famous wands and magic snow globes, and you could even do a spell to flatten a Harry Potter penny, but just don't grab a Horcrux by accident.
As we wandered along, we stumbled onto a crash site. Looks like a spaceship had a little accident.
I can only imagine what that accident report must look like. I crashed my space shuttle into the amusement park.
We made our way over to the next Universal store. The colors were bright and vivid and made you feel like you jumped into a cartoon. The love was in the air. And after all that shopping, we had some energy to burn off. We skipped our way down Citywalk until we found they had a dance party going on. They even had a big screen TV to display all the coolest dancing, and it looked like so much fun I even had to jump in.
Now that we'd gotten our kicks out on the dance floor, we were all getting hungry enough to raid the nearest restaurant, so we hustled our way all the way to the end, right down to Margaritaville.
What a great place to have a birthday dinner. It's always 5 o'clock somewhere in here. And as we waited for our table, we held onto our fins because that was one giant margarita.
We argued over who was going to get to drive our pontoon boat of a table, and then once everybody got settled in their seats, we drove over to a nice spot by the beach to have our dinner. Fun, flashy drinks helped us relax and look around a little better until we found Jimmy's lost shaker of salt. We said cheers and celebrated the only way we knew how, by getting wild and acting like the people our parents always warned us about. After that, we got fins up and suns down because it was time to celebrate the birthday girls.
Happy birthday.
We stuffed ourselves silly at dinner and we were headed back. We didn't get too far when we ran right into that dance party. It had exploded now. It was fully jumping.
We threw our hands in the air and we waved them all around like the whole world was watching, and we just don't care.
It looked like so much fun we all had to join in.
That got the party jumping, so we packed the dance floor tight until everybody was 100% killing it. The entire plaza was popping, and whoever had the hot foot was taking center stage.
Oh my gosh, we were having so much fun.
The camera couldn't keep up with all of our delightful dance moves, so we decided to call it a night and let someone else who was hanging around have their moment in the spotlight.
We were all exhausted and we felt we had sufficiently worked off dinner. We made our way out of Citywalk, passing through portals and checking out all the last sites before we left. This was our last chance to take in all the Universal City sites. We took our last pictures in front of the iconic Universal globe before heading back to the hotel for the last time.
Thanks for going to Universal Studios Hollywood Citywalk with us.